So today's video really combines my two biggest favorites ever, which is reading and fall spooky stuff. So I compiled a list of the best fall reads that you should spend some time reading this fall. Some of them are more directly fall spooky leaning than others. Some I just kind of feel like have the vibe of fall in a way, or maybe like late summer, feeling. But I, regardless, have read all of these, love them, and I think that you should all give them a read if you haven't already. So starting off, I'm going with the Dark Academia selection. So I'm going to start with the one that I actually liked less. So this is Babel, and it is your very traditional sense of like dark academia. It's kind of culty, like secret society, not cult, secret society, and it's a really great read. It's not my favorite out of like dark academia, just because it's very linguistic heavy, and I enjoy the like science and art of linguistics, but it just wasn't like my favorite. But it's a great fall read. I would say like earlier, maybe in September, I would read this. Okay, this is like the Bible for dark academia fall spooky reads, which is The Secret History. So this has been talked about a billion times, so I'm really not saying much new, but I think this is, regardless, an amazing read. I love this book. If I had to pick a time of the year to read this, I would say October, maybe, or November, maybe November. This kind of leans more into like the winter, I would say, timeline-wise. So I think this even might be a great winter read as well. It kind of hits on that like morbid loneliness of it. The like slow, drawn out winter and dread. But this is a very, this is the blueprint for dark academia. It starts off, the writing is amazing. I love Donna Tartt. Starts out, it's my favorite like intro. And you kind of devolve from there, and things go pretty haywire. So I recommend this if you like amazing writing and that kind of dark mystery devolve, I'm sorry, that's not the right word, but the dark mystery of it. So that is that. Next, I have, hold on, how to pick it up. This is like, I'd say very traditional September, October. This is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This is a traditional like spooky mystery, House on the Hill, Strange Suspects. This is a great read. I think I'd probably give it like 4 stars, maybe something around that. I would check it out. Let's see if they have a better summary than I just provided. So it's about a woman that killed her family. She's the suspect of that, and a nearby home health aide has to take care of her. So it kind of goes from there. It's like a very spooky setting. I enjoyed it. Okay, next we have, I love these two. I would put them in the practical magic witch category. These are extremely similar, but they're enjoyable. I would say they're like easier reads. They're very similar. So this one is, I'm pretty sure, just about the same as practical magic. I don't know what came first. I don't remember. I looked it up at one point, but I don't remember. But this is called Garden Spells by Sara, Addison, Alen. and it's a great read. It's pretty much the exact same as Practical Magic if you've seen that movie, so I hope I'm not spoiling it, but the premise is essentially that. But I just love this book. I love the cover. It's so cute. This one is also a very like cutesy read. This is when a guest dies in the B&B, she helps her aunts run. A young witch must... Wait, I'm sorry, I read that completely wrong. When a young guest in the B&B, she helps her aunts run. That doesn't make sense. A young witch must rely on some good, old-fashioned investigating to clear her aunt's name in this magical and charming new cozy mystery. I don't know why it was like so hard for me to read that. But this is In the Company of Witches. And I'd say this is like a good cozy read. So that's that. Okay, next we have ones that are really nothing to do with the fall, but I something about it just reminds me of like late summer, early fall. So I think August is a great time to read these two. So actually, I'll start with Normal People. This really technically does not have a place in this list, but I felt like August would be a great time to read Normal People, or maybe September. But you know, there's the show with Daisy Edgar Jones and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. I'll insert it. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. But it's about, you know, two individuals and their story together from high school, and they kind of had a weird relationship and how it evolved into college and so on. And the next is Never Let Me Go. Whoa, that was like a crazy accent that came out there. Never Let Me Go. This is one of my favorite books. I don't know. It's another one that it doesn't really fit in this list, but for some reason it fits in this list in my mind. I think it's because it starts out in a setting of a school, and I think to me when it's like that, it's like fall, and it kind of in a way reminded me of like high school, and therefore I placed it in the fall category because fall is like when you're going back to school. But I would probably, like, if I had to choose, I would read this in late August as well. It's kind of that book where you feel like you know when seasons are kind of changing, like they're almost at the point where they're going to change, but you're in that stretch of time where it's kind of just all the same and it's drawn out, but it's peaceful. It's like, it feels like you're almost frozen in time. That's what this book felt like to me. I don't want to like spoil anything, so I'm really not going to describe this book, but it really stuck out to me and I enjoyed this. I don't think this is the kind of book that's for everybody, but I think, you know, maybe I had some kind of like personal reason. I'm not sure. I just really liked this. So yeah, I would recommend reading this in like mid to late August. Okay, the next two are probably the most appropriate for this list. So we have some classics. So first of all, The Haunting of Hill House. I think this is a great intro into classics. It's a great read. It's, you know, a scary story, and it's by Shirley Jackson. And I read this actually first in high school, and then I reread it like maybe a year or two ago. And it's a very classic haunted house kind of story, but it really set the stage, I feel like, in a lot of ways. And it's good analysis on characters as well. And I would recommend reading this in October. And I would also recommend watching the Haunting of Hill House show on Netflix. That is one of my favorite shows ever. It's amazing. It's a little bit of a different spin on this classic story. It's not like the movies that were created for Haunting of Hill House. It's more of a different spin on it. But it's interesting to see how the characters were interpreted into a different twist of the storyline. Sorry, I might have cut out, but here is one more. We have Frankenstein. Frankenstein is another, I think, good intro to classics. It's a great classic tale. It's a little bit harder to read than The Haunting of Hill House, I'd say, but it is just amazing. And it's amazing that this was written by Mary Shelley. I mean, she did such an impeccable job, and for the time that this was written, I mean, the fact that this story has stood strong this long is just amazing and so cool. So yeah. I have one more, but it's on my Kindle, so I'm not going to show you, but it is Slewfoot. I think this is a very classic October tale, like a late October tale. It's very traditionally like classic witch tale, so I think it's really fun. It's not like I wouldn't rank it as high as some of the other books on my list so far, just because I don't really fully align with the writing style. But I'd say it's an enjoyable read. I think it's a really cool and interesting spin on like the traditional tales of witches. And I like the whole storyline of Samson, which is kind of like the devilish figure in the tale that partners with a local woman who's a witch, traditionally, if you had to like put a label on it. And I think it's a really cool tale. I haven't finished it yet, so maybe my opinions of it will change. Maybe they'll improve. We'll see. But I would say that those are a really strong selection of books to read in the fall. If I read any more, I will tell you. Actually, before I forget, I have one more, which is Graveyard Shift. And this is more of like a novella, and this is my first time reading anything from this author. I know she also wrote If We Were Villains, but I really liked Graveyard Shift. I finished it in one go. I thought it was enjoyable. It wasn't anything like, whoa, groundbreaking, but I thought it was really fun read, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's the selection. I hope this gives you some inspiration to read something fun this fall and kind of get in the spirit, get in the mood. So let me know if you have any recommendations outside of this that I should read, because I feel like I'm starting to kind of crank through a majority of like the recommendations for fall. So I am always happy to read more. I love kind of books in this general genre, so I would love to find something new. So yeah, I hope you all have a good evening, good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.